Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X.
I will not be posting content to Meta platforms. I will not be reposting old content there. I will not be using Instagram Reels for entertainment. Until I come up with a different plan, you will find me exclusively on YouTube and Blue Sky. I will be caught dead submitting myself to Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. You're telling me I'm going to post Instagram Reels for a bunch of red-pilled MAGA neo-schmazzies?
Guys, I can't take much more of this. This is too much winning. We got another episode here of MAGA keeps winning because we got Mark Zuckerberg out here bending the knee, okay? He is kissing the ring. He's shining Donald Trump's shoes. Okay, he's on his hands and knees like, I'm gonna shine your shoes, sir. What else do you need from me? At least that's what the fake/legacy news is saying. I actually think that Mark Zuckerberg is just doing what's great for business because he is getting rid of these fact checkers, these woke behind shills, liars, and partisan hack fact checkers who have been removing information such as you saying that masks don't work. You know, the people who would deplatform you for that. People who would deplatform you for saying that the vax didn't work. The people who would take down posts about the Hunter Biden laptop story, right? If you said something about the election being rigged or fraudulent, they would try to take down the post or even remove your account for that. These are the people who Mark Zuckerberg is canning, and he's replacing it with community notes and effectively making the platform a little bit more like the fastest growing platform in literally the world, which is X, in woke behind Morning Joe, okay, Trump deranged, fake, partisan hack Morning Joe, because this guy was never really as Trump deranged as he pretended to be. He's having a complete and utter meltdown about this, along with a bunch of other radical leftists. Take a look at this clown.
Here's some troubling news. This morning, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced a series of major changes for the company, including, get this, the end of its fact-checking program for Facebook and Instagram, and the desire to embrace free speech. Yeah, well, is that like what we've seen on X, where misinformation is worse today than it's ever been?
They added Dana White, the head of the UFC, to their board in the last 24 hours. Just give you a little bit of political context of what's happening here.
It's the Meta thing. They say it's for open expression and free speech, but it is precisely in line with what Trump and his allies have been calling for a long time.
And then there's the question of who's supposed to control all of this. And by the way, I will submit to you that I think some of the algorithmic changes that went on during COVID and other things like that went too far. And I think that part of what we're seeing is a pendulum that is swinging from one way that might have gone too far on one end now to another way. I imagine in a couple of years from now, I think people will say this is way too far. And then the question is, where does it go next? But that's
yeah. I mean, they're using that though for such cynical reasons because of mistakes that were made by Twitter and by other social media platforms in the past. They're using that and have used that as an excuse now to go to in the other direction in the most extreme way. And you're so right. What's the old saying that a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still getting its pants on, its boots on, its pants on, whatever's getting on. And that is the problem with this community policing, is that the lies go out there, they spread, they rapidly, and you have so much misinformation that's being spread on all of these platforms, especially X, that the truth barely stands a chance on the platform of catching up to it, Andrew.
These guys hate free speech so bad. For people that were going on and on and on about democracy, they would not shut the heck up about democracy. These people, they just cannot stand users being able to freely express themselves in community policing. These people basically hate the Constitution, the thing that they claim that they want to protect so badly. They hate it. They want their message to go out and for them to be able to say whatever the hell they want, not have any consequence. Nobody can't sue me. It's political persecution. Stop it, Donald Trump. But when somebody else has something to say and they want to cover it up or they want to lie about it on their side, on the fake news side, they want to call it mis and disinformation and say you should be deplatformed, it should be taken down, it should be fact checked. all of these ridiculously stupid things. Everybody knows that these people are partisan hacks. The guy just said himself in the video that they went too far. You damn right they went too far. At one point, I put up a picture of a box of masks. This is a real picture. And it said on it, does not prevent the spread of the C19 virus. That's what it said. It didn't say, I'm paraphrasing here. And this was removed as mis and disinformation. This is what the people who created the damn product said. And the fact checkers were like, nope, it's wrong. That's what they mean by bias. How hard is this to understand? You got Brian Stelter, apparently, you know, the previously fired guy. He wasn't good enough to host his own show on CNN. So, you know, he was fired, and then they brought him back as some sort of analyst or something, Brian Stelter. So now he's back, and he's going with this hackery as well.
It gets to this broader sense that when people like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg talk about free speech, everybody wants free speech, but it oftentimes seems that these tech CEOs actually are favoring or preferring a certain kind of speech, right? They're favoring their own speech or their own political preferences and not the actual entire user or the community's speech. You know, the changes announced by Meta today are very much a MAGA makeover, a pro-Trump makeover, and that's going to win Meta some conservative users, but it may repel some liberals. That's the same thing we've seen happen on Elon Musk's X. He's turned it into more of a right-wing platform where he's pro-free speech when it's really pro-Musk or pro-Trump speech.
This clown is literally sitting up here saying that free speech is like a right-wing or conservative thing. Free speech is a Trumpian thing. This is how far politics have gotten. If you say something that someone somewhere that believes they have the authority over you believes is wrong, they should have the power to shut you the hell up. That's what they think. These people think very highly of themselves. You don't deserve to be heard. You can go in your room and talk. Well, guess what? You don't need a constitution for that, you dodo brains. Anybody could be in their very private environment and just yell where nobody could hear them. Free speech is protected for a reason, and these dummies think free speech. Unfortunately, you know what? I'm over here laughing at them and calling them names, but unfortunately, at least as of these recent years, they're right. Free speech has become more of a right-wing conservative thing. I don't know what the hell happened to the people on the left. Y'all don't believe in free speech unless it's something that you agree with and think should be heard by other people. What if it's something you disagree with? That's the whole point and the reason behind free speech. And I'm glad that Mark Zuckerberg is triggering the hell out of them. Donald Trump actually believes that he played a big role in this.
So Mark Zuckerberg called me. First of all, he called me a few times. He called me after the event and he said that was really amazing. It was very brave. And, you know, and he actually announced he's not going to support a Democrat because he can't, because he respected me for what I did that day. I think what I did maybe was to me, it was a normal response. But I was called by Mark Zuckerberg yesterday, the day before, on this same subject. And he actually apologized. He said they made a mistake, et cetera, and they're correcting the mistake. Google, nobody called from Google.
So we got a statement at Fox Business from Google. They said this fact check was initially applied to a doctored photo showing the Secret Service agents smiling. And in some cases, our systems incorrectly applied that fact check to the real photo. It has been fixed. We apologize for the mistake.
That it will stop putting fact checks on posts on its website. And Meta said today it would stop putting fact checks on its website and instead allow community.
Well, I watched their news conference, and I thought it was a very good news conference. I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook, I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man was very impressive. I watched it. Actually, I watched it on Fox. I'm not allowed to say that. Say it?
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past? With
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I want to react here to one more CNN clip where Chris Sununu, you know, the guy who was advocating for bird brain Nikki Haley.
Not only she's going to win in a landslide.
He is going head to head with this woke reporter. I can't even remember this dude's name. He is one of the most boring. Like, he's right up there with Abby Phillip. I think Abby slightly edges him out in terms of being a little bit more palatable to listen to as opposed to this loser. But it's still a funny conversation. Let's get into it.
How do you feel about facts?
How do I'm pro facts. I mean,
right.
Yeah, look, I'm an engineer. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a spreadsheet guy. I'm a firm believer that you look at the data, you make decisions, you be super transparent, especially for those who hold public office. Explain to folks why you're making the decisions you are based on data, and you move forward.
So some things are objectively true, other things are objectively not true.
Last time I checked, yes.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is because Meta, the parent company to Facebook, announced this morning that it's getting rid of its fact checkers.
Well, guys, you know that at a certain point on Twitter, as a matter of fact, if you go over to Blue Sky, you can't say that boys and men have XY chromosomes and women have XX chromosomes. They'll deplatform you. You can't say there's only two genders. They'll deplatform you. They'll fact check you. They'll usually deplatform you. But these are objective truths. These hacks will try to say that you're spreading misinformation for saying that. If you say the border's been open under Joe Biden, that's missing disinformation. You try to say the economy sucks for the middle class, that's missing disinformation. Everything that is bad politically for them is missing disinformation. That's why these people do not deserve to exist. They need to be wiped out. Okay, I don't mean pew-pew them, but I do mean you fired. Get the hell out. We don't need your political biases here. We'll take the community notes for free.
Great. Good. Nobody believes them. No, in their own words, there was severe political bias there. If there was a conservative group that had fact checkers, I'd say there's political bias. If there's a liberal group, if there's social media groups, if there's always going to be a bias in what you do. I think in the social media world, the political bias got very, very heavy. They acknowledge it. They're going to make a change.
Can you get better fact checkers then, rather than getting rid of them altogether?
How about not worry about fact checking?
Well, you just told me that there are things that are objectively true and objectively not true.
They are, but is that the role? Is social media's role to prove to you what is true and what is not, or is its role to be an open platform?
Why is he arguing in favor? Just think about this for a second, guys. Imagine, can we get better fact checkers? No. You know what these people said? When you look at the links, I'm sure you all remember it would say this is from a nonpartisan organization and they are completely independent and they are not controlled by any political party and not government affiliate. It don't matter. These people are liars. It doesn't matter whether they're not affiliated. They still had their political leanings. Look at how the Washington Post did, the LA Times, how if they didn't want to endorse Kamala Harris, you got people, a bunch of the staff walking out. They're supposed to be independent journalists, but because they don't support Kamala Harris, they just walk out. They just quit their job immediately. Imagine how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and how much soup your brain has to be turned to basically piss in order for you to even be that type of person. Something is seriously wrong with you. They didn't even endorse Trump. They just failed to endorse Kamala. These people lost their minds. They're supposed to be independent journalists. Think about it.
For discussion, debate, opinion, whether folks believe something or not believe something, I would say that's really where social communication, that's more of the role of social media, not to be the police of what's true.
Without using words like police, and I'm glad we're having this discussion because it's an important one here. Whose responsibility is it then to talk about what's true and not true?
It's nobody's. As a community, we can decide, but even then, if somebody believes something and they want to say it, we could say you're stupid, that's wrong. But they could keep saying it if they want to. It's what it is. These people demand control over everything. It doesn't stop with free speech. Free speech, guns, it like hell, they literally still have slavery in prison. These people want control over everything, and they're not gonna get it, and they're sad, they're upset because they can't control what the hell you got to say. And I'm happy as hell that they're upset about it because it's a stupid thing to be upset about.
Yours, mine, my kids, our communities. We all have that personal responsibility. It's not the government's. There's a freedom of speech aspect to this, of course, but it's not the government's role to necessarily tell you absolutely what is true and what is not true, what you should believe, judge you on what you believe and how you're voting.
Yeah. We're not talking about the government. We're talking about Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg literally said that he was under government influence.
In a letter sent to the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, the Meta CEO explained, quote, in 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of the kind of establishment on that, kind of waffled on a bunch of facts and, asked for a bunch of things to be censored that in retrospect ended up being, more debatable or true. And that stuff is really tough, right? And really undermines trust. The FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant.
What do you mean we're not talking about the government? They forced him to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story along with a bunch of pandemic data that was coming out, including things that one week they say masks work, the next week they say they don't work, the next week they say wear 2 of them, then the vaccine protects you, then it doesn't. You need to get 2 of them to be effective. It works for 6 months. You got to get a booster and then you'll be good. You got to get another booster. These people, it doesn't matter. Facts don't matter to them. They're weirdos. They're hacks. They cannot be trusted.
It's a private business. So right. Is it in their business model that we are going to be the police of truth in America, and when people say something that isn't true, we're going to immediately correct it or ban them? No, of course not. I'm going to guess. I haven't seen the business plan for Facebook, but I'm guessing that Meta doesn't have it in there.
How do you know when you go on Facebook whether what you're reading is true?
You don't. You don't. And that's why you shouldn't use Facebook or just Truth or just social media or just CNN or just ABC. You use your experiences to understand that what.
This is why I post a lot of different clips from different networks on this channel, because I am trying to stay as informed as possible, and I'm trying to keep you guys as informed as possible, including from people that are extremely annoying people, because, hey, this is what people really think out here, and whether you ignore it or not, these people are working hard every day to control your life, as you can clearly see. We can't let them do that.
You're getting, and I'll say this, I think the next generation, I think we have this tough debate on it because social media is new for us, right? Our generation invented social media. We didn't have the maturity and the responsibility to handle it appropriately. I think the next generation does. I think they know the vast majority of what they're seeing online isn't necessarily truthful. There is bias on both sides.
I don't know why Sununu said that last comment, because bias on both sides where? On social media? Certainly not. Community knows, like, imagine having a level playing field. Left-leaning people can say whatever the hell they want. Right-leaning people can say whatever the hell they want. People in the middle could say whatever. But, oh, that's right wing. These people are so sick in the head. Like, I don't understand. Has the Democrat Party, are they really that powerful? Did they do all this? They made these people crazy. They're like literally afraid of free speech. Their whole lie is gonna get propagated. Well, where the hell have you been? Where Mr. Joe Biden's not cognitively declined? That's missing disinformation. Where the hell were you with all of that, Mr. The border is closed. The border is not open. That's ridiculous. I mean, these people will lie to your face, to millions of Americans, and do it every day. But then if somebody lies to a couple hundred people, a couple thousand people about something that they believe is true, but whatever ends up being false, then it's like the worst thing in the world. These people were intentionally lying to protect Kamala Harris. Oh, there's nobody deployed in combat zones. Like, hell, Kamala Harris is black. I mean, they said all kinds of stupid stuff and lies, like, oh, she wasn't paying anybody off to support her. Of course, you find out later she paid everybody off. What the hell's the problem? These people just want the left-wing hacks to run everything, and it's not gonna happen. And I'm glad you're upset about it, and I can't wait to just see them just cry just all 4 years. I can't wait to keep seeing them cry and make videos about them crying every damn day if I got to, because they need to be continually exposed. and I enjoy doing it. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Would Zuckerberg do this if Trump had lost the election?
I mean, it's good for him that he finally came out and said something, but I think it's a little too late, buddy. You know, this is, to me, this is an election interference and treason. I hear many people saying that this is a crime against humanity. The question is, I actually want to ask this to our audience, does he actually regret it, or is it because he got caught?